quote is, "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater." A lot of you know about that, and everybody says, "Why in the world would he open up a call with that?" Well, I'm just welcoming you to the coffee hour, and as I always say, it's reputedly the shortest coffee hour on anybody's agenda. So in the next 30 minutes, we're going to do it. I want to tell you a little story about last night. I like to do that. I'm a real guy, and you're all real friends, and I thought maybe you want to hear this. So last night, I had a pretty busy day, and you don't care about that, and I didn't care about it either. But I came back home, and I said, so what's on my agenda for tonight? And I wasn't lazy, but I was real comfortable, and I said, you know what, Bobby boy? Let's make yourself a nice dinner. And I made a great pasta dish, and I cracked open one of my bottles of wine, and I said, I'm going to stay home with my dog Riley and watch a movie tonight. And if I watch that movie at 8 o'clock or so, I'll have a safe night and probably enjoy it. So let me tell you what I watched. You all ought to write this down. You might not have the taste that I have, but it'll be interesting. I got on Netflix. Yeah, I'm a Netflix kind of guy. And I watched a movie called The Battle of Buster Scruggs. Now, it's not even a movie that I'd want to watch, but it said something about it was critically acclaimed, and it was written by Joel and Ethan Coen. And it was filmed in New Mexico. That kind of attracted me. Colorado, Roy, that kind of attracted me. And Nebraska. Nebraska typically doesn't attract me, but I've spent, about a year there one day or two out in the fields. And so anyway, this movie was voted the best screenplay at the Venice Film Festival. Liam Neeson is in it, and a handful of others. We don't have to go through all that. But essentially, it talks. It's an anthology of the West, obviously, and it was 2 hours and 15 minutes long, and it covers 6 different Wild West tales. And it had everything in it: shoot 'em up in the bars, and vigilante justice. And it had little scenes of covered wagons going across the Midwest, lots of drama, love. It was just a beautiful thing. And one thing that I'd like to tell you, I shared this with Steve this morning. I saw a movie years ago called Legends of the Fallen. I remember it was a great story, but what I was impressed with the most was the cinematography. And last night, although this movie was a little bit wild, it had some of the most fantastic cinematography I've seen in a long, long time. And some of the scenes were just outrageous. And it even referred to the Native Americans, obviously, going back to the Wild, Wild West, and cowboys. And speaking of cowboys, the guest that I mentioned to you that was going to give you some details about our topics today is none other than Cowboy Roy Bilberry. Roy, are you there? Say hi to everybody.
Yeah, guys, I'm here. I'm sorry. I had you on mute. Was talking away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
of course you did. Well, all right, that's okay. Well, anyway, welcome, Roy. And Roy's going to help us because we're going to cover, as always, three major topics. First one is what's going on, and it's all good, by the way, better than good. And the second thing that we're going to talk about today, and that's why I talked about this Western movie, is that we have to understand that success isn't free, and we're all paying the price, getting started and doing our thing. And my God. I just put it together just watching that movie last night, and I questioned myself why or how is it that I think I've got a right to complain about anything when I was watching what the pioneers were doing going across the country and the challenges that they had. And we don't have any challenges like that. It's just business. But the fact of the matter is they built the West Coast, go west, young man. And they discovered gold, and they discovered, that's where Seattle and San Francisco and the rest of those places came from. And, that did not come without pain, but the prize is what I enjoyed at the end of that movie. So we're always going to talk about some accomplishments, and we're going to talk about this focus on success. And we're also going to mention, it's going to be my parting word about the road less traveled. It's a real smooth one compared to the ones that entrepreneurs can be in today, but man, I'm fired up. So let's get started. I wanted to do a couple other things. Both Roy and I had a conversation with Steve. Steve is not on the call because he's in the mountains. He's on his way to fry some bigger fish. He is indefatigable. He does get tired, but he's indefatigable. And his focus is intense, and he's out on the weekend taking care of business. Roy's going to share some of that with us in a minute. Talking about the fact that what's going on, I'm going to defer to Roy to share some of this, but I want to talk about two people. One of them may be on the call. But the first one I'm going to address is a gentleman who happens to be a doctor. He's a cardiologist in El Paso. His name is Dr. Aguilar. And the reason that we're talking about Dr. Aguilar, the cardiologist, is that he has a penchant for understanding what role drugs have in medicine. Not unlike Doc Pearson, he's a integrative medical expert, and if he can figure it out, and he has, with the influence that he has, he can get CBD into the hands of a whole lot of people. Having said that about the doc, let me tell you this. That man and his organization is purchasing literally thousands of dollars of CBD every week. And that isn't necessarily to set the bar for anybody, but at a time when many of us may be thinking, gosh, this is slower, this is challenging, or this isn't what I thought it was going to be, it's better than that. It's so much better than that. And Roy always listens in to make sure I don't forget my point. If somebody's buying at the volume discount price of at least $2,000 a week, doesn't it stand to reason that if he's a business person and he's marking it up like we're supposed to, that he's making thousands of dollars a week? So there we have a particular example of somebody who says, well, all we've got to do is get the product, get it in front of people. People are going to try it. They're going to like it. Why? Because it works, and we've got the best CBD on the planet. And everybody goes, well, there you go, Bobby boy. You got a doctor in Florida. Here's another doctor. Well, everybody cannot be a doctor. And I want to talk about somebody else. I have not spent any time with this person on the phone, other than the fact that I love the fact that they're on the phone saying hello. And I want to recognize Judy Cork. And Judy decided, if we're going to spread the word, let's spread the word. So she's got a retail operation, and she's knocking the cover off the ball, and her enthusiasm is high. She keeps it simple, and she's happy with where she is in the space. So, in the last few months, we've been talking about this challenge or that challenge. Man, what do you expect in the first year of a business? I think that this window of opportunity, I said this the other night, the window of opportunity is still wide open because there are people who come in, within the last couple of months, and they set the world on fire. Now, let's go back to my leverage ticket. Now I'm going to bring Roy on. This business is a business of leverage. Anybody who wants to go out and do what the doc is doing, I don't know that it's easier to be a doctor, but certainly physicians have a lot of influence. I don't know that everybody wants to get into the retail business. But no matter what happens out here, the average person, our level playing field, is sustained because we're all doing the same thing. spreading the good word about a great product called CBD, and our company is the one that is responsible for compensating us handsomely for doing that. We're going to pay a lot of money. You don't have to go out there and go to med school, and you don't have to go out and lease a building and bring in all kinds of products. But my hat goes off to the people who do that. I've never really done that. That's not my style. I'm a street guy. I'm a salesperson, and I like to go out there and talk to people. And some days I'm good at it. Some days I am not good at it. So you ought to be able to identify with that phrase. If you can't, you're going to have good days and bad days. And I don't want everybody to focus in on changing from one thing to another. The only thing that we do is introduce this product to people. Now, in order to run this whole thing, so congratulations to Judy. If you're on the call, Belton, or I think you're in something, but my hat's off to you. And you will be an inspiration for a whole lot of people, because we've got to recognize those people that take a step out. Anybody who's with us today has taken a step out, because we either want to improve the quality of our health or we want to improve the quality of our lives. And the best way to do it is to figure out how to get compensated for spreading the good word. That is the message for the day. And we're going to talk about the road less traveled at the end. Right now, I would like to bring on a guest whom I've already introduced. You got it on the SMS text today. I was talking about cowboys. This guy's a cowboy, and I love him to death. He's like a brother to me, and he works hard, and he's got some detail to share with you based upon the most recent email that everybody got. And when I first got it, I sat there going, yeah, okay, there's another announcement. No, it's not another announcement. It's huge. Roy, take yourself off and mute. Get on the phone and tell everybody about what's happening.
Hey, thanks, Bob. I appreciate that, brother. Cowboy, I'll take that one. I should have been a cowboy, if y'all remember that song. Anyway, I like to think of myself as some form of cowboy, I guess. Cowboy doesn't always mean six-shooter on the hip, right? Cowboy can be taken many ways, and I will take that as a compliment. Thank you, sir. Anyways, good morning, everybody. I know I haven't been on the call talking with Bob recently, but he and Steve asked me to join this morning just to kind of shed a little light on the email we sent out last week. And I'm not going to go into huge detail. Hopefully y'all have all read that email. It was, it's a pretty thorough email. We try to be about as transparent as we can be on stuff like this. And the approach we take on certain things, it's in the company's best interest. It's in your best interest. And so, I won't go into a whole lot of, I don't want to call it detail, because that's what I'm doing, is giving detail. But I don't want to elaborate way too much on stuff, because some of that stuff's just going to bore you. And really, if you're like me, I may get myself in trouble on this one. But a lot of times my wife will start, she'll start laying down the law, telling me I need you to do this, get this taken care of and everything else. And me being a man, I listen to probably none of that first part until the actual part that gives me task. When she actually says, this is what you need to do, then I listen to that. And hey, I'm not saying I'm proud of that. I'm just saying that's the way I operate sometimes. The good thing is we've been together a while, and we got 4 beautiful sons, and she's learned to appreciate my tactics, and so therefore she knows when I'm going to start listening. So, anyways, hopefully y'all got that email. Hopefully you've read that email. If you haven't, go look at your email. It came out last Wednesday, I believe, and it kind of lines out the story that we've, many of you who've been in since the beginning know some of the struggles we had with banking and merchant processing and all that technical jargon of collecting money in the CBD world, in the hemp world. I won't go into all of that, but that there's challenges in it. That email describes it. The hemp world. So I mean, there's a few things that are on the table here. the fact that we're in hemp, the fact that we're network marketing on top of that, and the fact that we're still a new infant company. And so all of those things compiled together has given us let's just say we've been working our tails off for all year. This has never been a dead subject. We've always invested time. Steve, let me tell you what, for a CEO to dedicate so much time to making sure we get this right, and I mean, it's just, to me, that speaks wonders about Steve and his character. But because he's adamant about getting it the way it should be. And so I'll just say this, when we first went into business, a little over a year ago, things were harder on the hemp and CBD world than they are even today. And so getting a bank account, getting merchant processors, those things, man, it was very, very, very tough. There's not a lot of opportunity out there to compete, to do whatever. I mean, it was just, this is what you can get. So we did what we could. We got what we could. And I'll tell you, ever since then, we weren't satisfied. Even when we got through our initial issues and everything else, we weren't satisfied. So we continue to look for the deal, and I'll call it the deal, because we didn't want just any deal. We talked to people and turned down their offers multiple times for banking accounts, for processing and things like that, until we came across what we have now. And let me tell you, although yes, I will give a little negative here and say yes, the commissions didn't get paid out yesterday because there was an issue behind the scenes on the banking side that we had no control over, because we were rushing to kind of get things done. We were told without a doubt that commissions would be in the accounts Monday or Friday, and something out of our control came up. But I will tell you this, and I'm very I'll tell you, commissions will be all caught up Monday. We've confirmed that. We've confirmed that with the bank. We've looked at the portal and see where all the commission payments got paid and everything else. But the main thing I want to say, and I appreciate Bob letting me get on here and talk a little bit about it, is that my confidence level in our current situation is light years better than what it was just even a few months ago with some of the struggles we were having with the banks. And so, again, go read that email. It'll give you more details of it, but at least hear my voice, knowing I've been in the trenches with Steve. We've been trying to get this figured out. We've been working on this, tirelessly for months. And I feel very, very confident. If it's worth anything, I put the Cowboy Roy Bilberry stamp of approval on what we've got going on right now. The banking issues are no longer. We've got a new bank. We've got, and the thing about it is that if anybody's been keeping up with CBD and hemp news, things are starting to get a little, it's coming around. The world's coming around and understanding. And so, therefore, the banks are coming around and they're understanding. And so we found the deal, and we got the deal and implemented the deal, and commissions will be paid out and paid out regularly, and, things are looking good on that front. I do want to, before I wrap up and hand it back over to you, Bob, I want to say two more things. Number one is I'd like to bring up Judy again. I'll tell you what, Janet and everybody else kind of handles doctors and everything else, but I've had some interaction with Judy. I've probably failed her a few times in my communication, but I want to tell you what, Judy is the prime example of what we are as Nextel, of when Steve envisioned where Nextel was going, what Nextel was going to do. Judy is, and I'm not saying she's the only one, not everybody can open up a storefront, but I'm saying her tactics, her characteristics, her passion, her drive is exactly what we need and what we envisioned in our Nextel representatives and our Nextel family. She has gotten after it. She has, when I've failed in communication, she came right back, and she was adamant that she was going to do this. She was going to put her all into it, and let me tell you what, it's paying off. you know, the old saying, you reap what you sow. To me, in my mind, I think Judy was sowing way before she got into Nextel. and so, and then once she got a hold of Nextel, I mean, you talk about farming, cultivating, and everything else. She's getting after it. And I just want to say, Judy, if you're on the call, man, keep it up. Keep up the awesome work, because you're doing great. And you are inspiration to us all. And you know, we all want to have that same drive and passion like you've got. The next thing I want to say is kind of talk about, you know, we always talk about what's coming, what's, you know, this and that. And although, you know, I'm going to pull the cliche and say, hey guys, I can't let you in on everything. You know, I got to keep a little bit. We've still got some stuff fleshing out. But let me just tell you this: that the other conversations, other than the banking and solving this stuff and everything else, the other conversations we've had from an executive level internally, is stuff to get excited about. And I wish I could tell you more about it, but I'm just telling y'all, you better strap your boots on and make sure you got your belts and everything else, because this thing, it's going to get real wild real soon. And I mean that because the best wildest way you can say. There's some really good things coming up. I have to keep out my tongue because I want to talk about it, but I can't because we're still hashing out a few things. But there's some good changes coming, some new things from the full spectrum of the company. There's good things coming, and again, get ready because this is going to be a fun journey. And so anyway, I'm going to shut up now because, Bob, I'm probably going to end up saying something I ain't supposed to say yet, and then Steve might get the ruler out and slap me on my hand. So I'm going to hand it back over to you, brother, but I appreciate you letting me come in today, and I hope everybody has a blessed day. Thank y'all for your diligence, your patience with us to, you know, get some of this stuff straightened out, and definitely hear me when I say I am very, very, very confident in where we're at today, and I'm just thrilled of where we're headed. So take it back over, Bob.
All right, thank you, Roy. By the way, for everybody's edification here, I don't allow you, Roy, to come onto this call. I need you on this call. You're a part of the team, and your voice and the things that you have to say are different than mine. We're different kind of people, but we're all going in the same direction. And speaking about different kinds of people, you know me, I remember things not because I'm a genius. I'm impressed with certain things that people say. And there's a saying that came from Abraham Lincoln, and his saying was, "I may move slow." In English, I may move slowly, but I never move backwards. And I thought about that, and I kept saying to myself, you know, how profound that is. And that's why I said we're going to close with the road less traveled, and tie in the movie that I watched last night. So I may move slowly, but I don't move backwards. That is an incredibly profound and applicable statement from Honest Abe. I'm going to tie it together by going back to the ballad of Buster Scruggs. You got to watch it, I'm telling you. There are some funny. When it starts in the beginning, you're going to say, "George is goofy. This guy's great." There's a little parody going on there. It's part of the levity of the movie, but it gets serious indeed. And I think you ought to spend 2 hours watching that movie when you have a chance. Get it on Netflix. Come on. And I'm not selling movies. I'm just selling the concept. So the message that I wanted to leave with everybody today is relative to the road less traveled. And I try to draw this analogy, having seen this movie, and I've seen many of them, and I think I've used this analogy before, but you know, there were people back in Boston and New York City and all over the East Coast, and they were all, let's just say, adventuresome. Some of them had need, but they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to find a new horizon. We're going to change our life. We're going to change our geography. We're going to change the way we think, and we're going to go at west. And what still impresses me is I'm watching these people last night on horses, many of them on foot, by the way. And that was not without any stretch. They had cholera back then. They had the influence from the people who were here first. It's like all of us moving out west. I mean, arrows flying and poisonous water and, oh my goodness. And I started to relate to the fact that, you know, I've got a gig out in Seattle. I'm going to spend 2 days in Seattle. And this boy here is going to hop on an airplane from Palm Beach to Atlanta and Atlanta to Seattle. And I'll get there in time for dinner. It's a long way. But I'm sitting there watching another movie, maybe having a cocktail, maybe studying for what I'm going to do the next day. Doesn't make any difference. But somebody else is flying that airplane. Somebody else gave humanity the genius, Wright brothers and all those Frenchmen over there, to understand what flight was all about. Now I sit on a A320, what's it called, commercial jet. And while I'm sitting there, it's like I'm sitting in a living room. And I get to Seattle and somebody picks me up in a car. Now all of a sudden I'm starting to realize they've got cars out there now that are driving themselves. I used to take cabs. I used to rent cars. I don't do that anymore. I used to take cabs that cost a fortune. Now we got Uber and Lyft. And there's more coming, by the way. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at the road less traveled, in the beginning, there are bumps, and oh my goodness. And I say to myself, why do we focus so much on the bumps? Why don't we focus upon the dream? Why don't we say, this is where I am today, but this is where I'm headed in the next 3 months, or 3 years, or before I pass? My bucket list is to do these things. If I can hop on a plane and in a few hours be the diagonal, by the way, from South Florida to Seattle is a long, long way. I've done the same thing to Beijing from Seattle. And I keep on thinking, what the heck am I doing here, sitting on an airplane, dining, talking to people who are going, you know, a lot of it's business, but a lot of it's, you know, pleasure as well, vacationing, tourism. And I say to myself, how the hell should I ever complain, or why should I ever complain about where we are today, given the fact that historically the world and our country has, this is history, this is what it takes. And every day I hear some accomplishment, some enhancement, something that has been accomplished to facilitate this business that we do. I am so blessed. Now what happens is, as we grow this business and more people become ambassadors, not only for Nextel, the Wealth and Wellness Company, but for CBD, which may very well be as close to a miracle as anything I've seen for a long, long time. And there aren't any drugs in it. I mean, it's this is natural. It's God's food. Right? The road less traveled is the one that everybody ought to try to be on. And every day we're stuck on a bumpy one. I grew up in Buffalo, by the way. And the weather in Buffalo was so bad. If you wanna look up Buffalo on Wiki, there's probably going to be a giant picture of a pothole that swallowed a truck. And I'm thinking about the road less traveled. There were so many people doing that all over the Rust Belt. Even today, we talk about infrastructure. Man, there's so many people traveling on this thing. Our objective is to get to the road less traveled, to where you don't have to be driving every day, to where, as technology comes, you'll be in a financial position to take advantage of it. And if you don't want to take advantage of that, I say it every day, spend your money and give somebody else the opportunity. So anyway, a lot of times we either we try to explain away the business side. We give you the details. Most of it has been passed on from someone else. It's not always accurate. But I know one thing that is accurate. It's Steve's vision for Nexel. It's the executive team's vision for Nexel. And as we learn and come to realize that there are things in this available to us, we will ultimately be traveling on the road less traveled. We don't have to worry about wheels falling off of covered wagons and the tax and all that. Come on, we're living in 2018. You hear me on Tuesdays and Thursdays? No, it's still 2018. In 2020, we hit $2.2 billion in a global market of $57 billion by 2027. All of those things indicate to me that somebody's paving the highway, which will be ultimately the road less traveled. Keep all of your priorities. It's all about God and country and your family, and obviously your health. Financial health is important. There aren't a whole lot of people who will be traveling where we expect to go because they won't see it. They won't buy into it. They'll be confused. So our job is to make it less confusing, far more simple. That's what Steve's all about. That's what I'm all about too. Roy, I want to thank you for what you did share with us today, because you're frying the fish that I don't fry. I like to do what I do, and you might not want me to be involved in that bank side and the processing side. And I know it's complicated, but I'm not a technocrat. I'm a people guy. Speaking about being a people guy, I'm also a blessed person today. And as always, may you be blessed as well. It's been a nice half an hour with each of you, all of you. And get on the call on Tuesday. Roy said he wanted to share some good stuff. We're just hanging on until we get it in the can, and it won't be next year. It won't be 5 years from now. These are things that just keep me going. So if you're waiting for the silver bullet, you may never see it. If you want to travel on the road less traveled, we got to get out there and start to do what we are destined to do. And that's to spread the word about Nexel and Nexel CBD. So today is my granddaughter's 11th birthday, and she was born in Colombia, and she has invited abuelo to her party, which they say starts at noon. It'll be 1 o'clock. I'll get there late and I'll be on time. But anyway, I'm going to spend some time with my fam. There's nothing more important to me than that. And I need the time to do that. And you need the time to do what you enjoy on Saturday as well. So we're going to end the call. God bless you all. Talk to you soon. Bye.